Alright, so it's been a minute. I let the episodes of DAIMA stack up on purpose because, as we can see, it's a build up. So instead of reviewing each episode, even when like barely anything happens, I throw it all into one video. But it won't be an hour-long video just because I'm talking about 3 episodes. Without further ado, let's jump straight into this shit though. So Goku enters the third demon world in episode 3. To the people who don't, that don't really fuck with DAIMA on the level that they think it's boring or it's going too slow or it's dragging along, none of this stuff is interesting. I got 2 things to say. One is that if you think that, then that means you only like certain things about Dragon Ball. And what I mean by that is you only probably got favorite characters, you probably got favorite arcs, favorite scenes, you probably only watched Dragon Ball Z in its entirety. So with people like you, if you're one of those people, you only like certain characters, you only like certain things from Dragon Ball, right? Certain parts, certain arcs, certain types of fights. You don't like to see certain other things. If you're that type of person and you're not interested in Dragon Ball entirely, then I would say you're more of a casual Dragon Ball fan. That's just the truth. Yeah, if you're not an extreme Dragon Ball fan, if you're not on there trying to find out everything about Dragon Ball and you're watching everything about Dragon Ball, some people try to dive really deep into it and figure out why Toriyama made this character's name this way, or why did he choose this color for this character's pants or this shirt. They're trying to figure out everything about Dragon Ball. That's not a casual Dragon Ball fan anymore. I said in the video before, there's 2 extremes to everything. There's always 2 ends to everything, 2 sides to each coin. Okay, there's always the extreme upper end, and you have the extreme lower end, because there's always the higher and the lower end, and you're gonna have the extreme versions of those 2 sides of the coin. Long story short, right? So if you're not interested in DAIMA so far, you're probably on the extreme lower end. I would put you on the extreme lower end because you don't fuck with. Maybe not extreme lower. Let me rephrase that. You're just a casual Dragon Ball fan, right? You're just a casual Dragon Ball fan. You don't really. I would like to see. I wouldn't care if I got 4 episodes of Goku going to the store because Chi-Chi slapped him in the face and said, "Yo, here's a shopping list. You fucked up." And then he's trying to cook food. He burns the food or some shit. Episode 3 is him and Goten training, and they just having a full day. He training with Goten. They in the forest doing shit like what he was doing with Gohan when he was a kid. Then they go home and eat and go to sleep. That's the end of the episode. Like little Dragon Ball shorts like that, I wouldn't mind it, bro. A Dragon Ball short with Gohan studying and Goku he want to train with him, or he want to fight him or some shit, but he also don't want to bother him. So you see Goku outside the window spying on him, and it's distracting Gohan. He hold on, bro. Okay, come on, let's go fight, bro. I would enjoy all of that little bullshit, bro. I don't care. All the tedious things about Dragon Ball, I enjoy. I like the characters. I like the plots. I like the jokes. I like the gags. I like the slow times. I like the fast times. Some people only have certain moments they like. But that's cool. That's fine. I'm not saying you can't have that. But you just gotta understand it's probably why you don't like this stuff, especially if you just gotta really be honest with yourself. If you only really seen Dragon Ball Z in its entirety, and some people claim they seen Dragon Ball Z, but they still never even watched every single episode back to back. Literally every single episode back to back. If you have not watched every single episode back to back, if you're still questioning certain plot points that the story already explained, I see people online asking questions. You might know people who ask questions like that, like, "Oh, what happened in this? And did Cell do this, or did why did Gohan say this to this dude, or why did Goku?" They're asking questions about stuff that the story explained already, and it's not something easily forgotten. Because if you watch Dragon Ball, you should know that's something that you don't forget. It's like a main plot point. But this person's asking it. They didn't watch Dragon Ball, bro. They didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, let me say that. let alone Dragon Ball. People don't even go over there. So that's like another territory people don't touch. So if you're, you just got to be honest with yourself, bro. This is why you don't like Dragon Ball Daima. It's not because it's bad. It's not because Toriyama fell off. It's not because the plot is stupid, the story is stupid, or it's not because them being kids suck. Maybe for you, seeing them being kids suck. Not for Dragon Ball fans. Okay, that's my point. Not for me. Not for a lot of people who like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. When I say Dragon Ball, I'm not just saying just Kid Goku. I gotta specify that more when I'm differentiating between actual Dragon Ball and I'm talking about the entire franchise right now. Like Dragon Ball fans and Dragon Ball, OG Dragon Ball. Let me say OG Dragon Ball and OG Dragon Ball fans like Daima. So Dragon Ball fans and OG Dragon Ball fans will like a lot of stuff that's happening in Daima, okay? Everybody else who pick and choose what part, some people only seen Super, which is crazy. Some people never seen Super, they only seen parts of Z and know the whole story of Z, but only seen parts of it, but never actually watched every episode. So they know everything about Z, but not they know a lot about Z. They know the whole story, but not everything about it, right? They know the whole story, but not everything about Z. Those people, some of them never even watch Super or Dragon Ball. Some people only watch Super. Never anything before that, they never watched it. Some people don't even watch the movies. They might look at Z, look at Super, go back and look at Dragon Ball, and they never watched none of the movies. You know what I'm saying? And then, hey, if you don't like Toriyama's writing, if you never really seen the truest examples of Toriyama's writing, if all you watched was Super, you're not getting the best Dragon Ball experience you could get for being somebody, this is your first time discovering Dragon Ball. You would have to go back and watch Z and Dragon Ball to get how Dragon Ball is supposed to really go. Because when people say, oh, Super's better than everything, or, some people, they never watch the old ones. Not to shit on Super, but it's just no way it's better than everything else. Because the old shit is just way better than Super. Point blank period. There's just no way you can say that. So that's where that shit comes from. If you don't like Daima, that's one part of that shit, man. So you gotta lock in, man. Attention spans are getting small. I know a lot of you people don't like things dragging out. I probably lost some of y'all by now in the video. If you're still here, good for you, man. But I probably lost some people by now because I'm probably talking for too much, for too long, But hey, that's what you gotta do, okay? So as I was just saying, I like lore drops. I like the information. And in episode 3, we get a lore drop with Shin mentioning how he's been in the demon world and grew up there as a kid, basically. Because, so we know he left as he got older. We might see that cutscene of when they put him in the ship and they seen him off, or maybe his whole clan left at the same time. I'll speak about why I think that later. Because, wink, wink, we got a little hint that them leaving the demon realm similar to the Namekians, but I'll talk about that later. When Goku goes outside the spaceship, when they enter the third demon realm, okay, because this is the first place they enter, Goku wants to stretch his legs and shit, and the air is heavy. Glorio says it's because the gas in the volcano making the air heavy. I think it might be similar to the air in the time chamber. I don't know, maybe, but hey, looks cool, right? So we also see that there's this area called the Sea of Darkness, or this body of darkness, like an ocean or sea called the Sea of Darkness, right? And if you fall into that, if you fall off the edge of the cliff and fall into the Sea of Darkness, the Glorio says you'll cease to exist. You'll be erased. That's making me think of some God of Destruction type of shit, okay? I don't know if they're gonna go deeper into that, like things that make you not exist and just completely erase you. Like no Dragon Balls. Maybe the Dragon Balls can wish you back from being erased. Maybe that's the only way. Or maybe the Super Dragon Balls, actually, for a fact. The Super Dragon Balls, that they do that. So we already know that, right? But even though Glorio says that you won't exist down there if you go down there, we see an animal come from down there. It's like a sea creature, but a demon fish shark, right? It tries to attack Goku. So I don't know if they're gonna dive deeper into that or if that's gonna become important later somehow. But shit lives down there. They got monsters and demons that live in the Sea of Darkness, swimming down there. Okay. So wasn't too much in episode 3 outside of jokes. You know that it was funny as hell though, right? But not too much to talk about. So let's go straight to episode 4. Glorio's spaceship got stolen, as we all seen. This is the episode we run into Pansy too. Okay, she's using her wasabi bombs, which I guess would make people's eyes burn. They'd start coughing and so, or maybe it burns them entirely. Who knows? But maybe it's like a napalm grenade, right? But we see Pansy, and her being the princess of the third demon world was kind of a surprise to the characters and us. Okay, I didn't imagine her to be the princess, and actually before the show, I thought Gloria and Pansy would be working together. I thought they already knew each other, but we see now this is the type of introduction they have with each other, right? So her place on the team reminds me of like Bulma and some other past characters that Goku was introduced to and interacted with in Dragon Ball, the OG Dragon Ball. Okay, so there's that little similarity with the king trying to marry her off to Goku, like similar to Chi-Chi and shit, right? And you also have the whole Bulma thing, because immediately Pansy is like yelling at Goku. She's the smart one, she got technology skills and all that. It's like Bulma. They're using her resources as a means to an end to like travel through the demon world. At this point, at least, they weren't doing it the whole time. They got it on their own until episode 4. But since episode 4, they pretty much relying on her shit. She got them in the castle, the spaceship home. That's her people stuff. She's fixing the spaceship. All those little things like that. That's some Bulma type stuff. She throws the capsule out. That's the vehicle that they use to get from A to B. Dragon Ball, OG Dragon Ball. If you know, you know. In this episode, we see the bugs that that allow people to fuse. And I had the idea before that the bugs allowed 3 people to fuse because of the picture. But when I looked at the picture kind of closer in this episode, and the fact that the lady said, not to mention the fact that she said you split the bug in half and feed the halves to 2 people, I didn't notice that part. I was looking too hard at the picture when the episode happened the first time. But upon looking at it the second time, I see that picture is just 2 demons like merging, and the one in the middle is the one they're merging into. So we still might not see Vegito or Gogeta. And if we see one of them, they might be demonic in nature. I feel like they might be demonic in nature. Like the fusion, the bugs might have some sort of demon energy inside of them that enable this fusion. This demon magic that enables the fusion. So 2 Saiyans fused, creating a new magical demon being, might be some crazy shit. And if they look similar, if somebody notices their form, like, yo, that looks similar to this lost race, we know now that the Saiyans got some sort of connection to the demon realm. Hey, I'm just hinting at it, because I said before, you might not have watched my past video, and I don't expect you to, so I'll say it now. I feel like, Enrisu or somebody in the past probably could have made the Saiyan race. It would be a good idea, or it'd be cool to see that. Like the Saiyans like created in a lab, and they broke out from the demon realm and evolved into humans after they were monkeys. Or maybe I'm just talking about some bullshit and I want my head canon to be in the story. Okay, cool, whatever. At first I was expecting 3 characters to fuse, but nah, I'm confident it's going to be 2 people. It's going to have to be Vegeta and Goku. But if not, I could see them hinting at Vegeta and Goku fusing. But then the last second, it turns into Glorio and Goku. Okay, I could see that last second. I'm getting it last second and fusing out and becoming Glorio. Yeah, some bullshit, okay? So I could see that happening. And then it'd be funny to see that, because I don't know what the hell the name would be. Goku would probably mess up his own name in this new fusion, with Glorio, like I just did. And if, like I said earlier, Vegito, if it happens, I would like to see some demon effects or some demon magic affecting the fusion, making him look like a savage, Saiyan monkey man or some shit. I don't know. Super Saiyan 4. Let's see it. So they use the Sky Seed to travel further distance in the demon realm. It seems that all the residents in the demon realm wear collars. From what we see, like we see all of them wearing collars and shit. The earlier episode, they got the energy sucked out. Maybe that's the significance of the collar, because they're like slaves or some shit, Maybe, who knows? So I think the purple people that we see in episode 4 might be clones. They might be some genetic, organically bioengineered weapons. Whatever, I forgot it was bioengineered or, whatever. But, yeah, bioengineered. But they're going to be created humans, I feel like. Created Majins, Created Majins. And that's what they are. I heard somebody say it before, like, they all look the same like stormtroopers. And that made me think, like, yeah, I said that too. So, like, hold on. They actually might be clones then. I didn't hear them say the clone part. Them saying the stormtrooper thing made me think, like, yo, I thought they all looked the exact same too. Like, like a little fake army, like, stormtroopers or something. Like, like the peons or like, generic military dudes. They all dress the same in a video game or a movie or something, right? So I thought that was that. But when he said that, I immediately thought, yo, these guys could be clones because they're being created with science, or magic science, quote unquote science, right? By Anrisu or whoever is Anrisu most likely. She's been alive for under 1,000 years. She's older than Supreme Kai. So yeah, it's most likely her that would be doing this demon magic science to create these clone people, this clone army. Okay, and I forgot their name. I'll say it later, but hold on. Okay, yeah, I had to pull up my notes real quick. My bad. I'm not editing that out. But the military force that King Goma uses apparently is they're known as the Gendarmerie, right? The Gendarmerie. I probably said it wrong. I probably butchered it because that's a French word. La Gendarmerie. Probably some shit like that. Okay, so they carry out law enforcement duties and stuff like that, and they use extreme force on people, right? They use a lot of weapons, okay? And it's a French word. If you didn't know, Japanese culture is one of those cultures that borrow, they borrow from other cultures. At one point through their history, they've borrowed a lot of things that are still a main staple today in their culture because it's been borrowed from other cultures. And often some of those things might not even be, noticed immediately as like something from a different culture because it's so intertwined today with the current culture of, whatever spot it's from. We're talking about Japan though. So Japan, they've borrowed from a lot of cultures similar to like America's done it too, right? So they got a little bit of everything, but they really strongly have a lot of French and Indian influences in their culture. American, I guess now, but French and Indian, I guess I would say are probably stronger than all the other ones that they have. They borrow from everything. So they borrow words, a lot of words from the French. From the Indian side of culture, they borrow a lot of foods, cuisine and stuff like that. America, it's cuisine and some words. Not to say they don't borrow any words from the Indian culture. Obviously the words are going to come with it, right? Some of it's natural, but sometimes it's just a word in French that they use, and it's in Japanese culture, and it doesn't have any other meaning but what it means in French. And there's no Japanese translation for the word, but they use it in their culture. Everybody understands, okay? But I'm digressing about some shit that you need to read some books, okay? I don't need to tell you this. But anyway, the idea of them being clones is really interesting though, because we know that the demon world's science is more or less magic based, if that makes sense to you, right? So creating other beings and creatures is like a kind of a common thing in the demon world. Whereas in our world, making robots and scientific things and all that sort of shit. We got artificial humans and stuff like that. That's more commonplace in our world. At least that was the thing. That was the strict line between the human, not the human world, but like between space. Okay, the universe, the outside universe, space, and the demon realm. Okay, that was the difference between the two. Is the demon realm, everything was magic based, at least from what Toriyama said loosely. Because Babidi created his spaceship with magic. He created his spaceship with magic. They didn't create it. They didn't physically build it and then, use magic to fuel it. No, his shit, it was created with magic. That's what he said. And then on the other side, people were physically putting spaceships together. Okay, now we know that these niggas might be building spaceships also in the demon realm. They got that capability. Unless we see that Pansy's like in Bulma, when Pansy and Bulma meet, Pansy called herself a mechanic. If we see Pansy and Bulma meet and their ideas of how everything works completely clash, but at the same time blend together because it's all relative, then that would be something to see. It's like, it'll be like in our world, it would be akin to the line between science and spirituality. What can be explained in science has a complete parallel that can be explained in the spiritual sense, right? So, like matter. I'm not about to get deep into that. Okay, if you don't understand that one, then hey, sucks for you, bro. Sorry to hear that. You might have to go type in what I said and go research that. But I feel like that line might be drawn, or at least that the similarities and the differences are going to be seen and noted, definitely. So with seeing these purple dudes, Pansy's trying to save them from getting their souls absorbed and all that. I guess this is just the overall way of ruling in the demon realm. I feel like I said that already though. So we see that it's clear, right? Okay. So the Supreme Demon King has mad power over people. And from what we've seen and heard from, Shin, or Supreme Kai say, his name is Shin, if you don't know. But from what we heard Shin say, it doesn't seem like the same thing was going on in the second demon realm. He's never acknowledged it or said anything about it, or said like he never remembered that or anything. So I guess he didn't even know that happened in the third demon world. So episode 5, I'm gonna try to go quicker because I don't want this video to be an hour like I said. So Pansy mentioned how all the Glens have left the demon realm a long time ago, similar to what we know about the Namekians now, right? I wonder if the reason was also similar too. Okay. We also later learn in episode 5 that Pansy is 82 years old apparently. Okay. Since demons have long lifespans though, her being 82 is still equivalent to a child in terms of relativity for demons, I guess. I mean, you would assume, right? Like they thought Goku's a kid. She's still a kid, but then she's 82, and her father's like, "Oh yeah, you gotta wait until you're older to get married." So obviously, Glorio. And my point in like analyzing this is like, okay, if she's a kid and she's 82, then Glorio, he's probably like at least 200 or maybe 300 years old for being like maybe a grown man or a young grown man. He's probably, in human years and earth years and shit, he's probably like in his 20s. You know what I mean? Or maybe he could be early 20s. I doubt he's a teenager. But either way, he could be anywhere from 200 to 300. Okay? And that makes you think about Supreme Kai. Supreme Kai mentioned how his brother was born on the tree when he was 206 years old. Did he look like how he looks now when he was 206? He's been alive the whole time. And his brother was born then. His older sister is older than him. By how many years? She could be like I said earlier, anywhere under 1,000 years. She could be 800. She could be 900. She could be using some sort of magic to prolong her life. You know what I'm saying? So she's probably over 1,000, and she shouldn't be. Who knows? She's seen all Demon Kings before Dabra, and his father, Abra. So these people, they've been around for a while, and we didn't even know this before. So they've been around way longer than we have ever suspected them to have been. Okay, which is crazy. And I know people are going to look for the plot holes. They're going to look for all the plot holes, and they're going to try to connect dots between how, oh wait, the Majin Buu happened this many years ago, and Supreme Kai wasn't around, blah blah blah, this and that. Shut up, it doesn't matter, bro. Okay, and if you get real specific, you're probably wrong anyway. Okay. And I wasn't expecting the king of the third demon world, the first demon world, Goma, to be taking care of Dende so good and so well. Like, he's taking care of that nigga. Like, he's really making sure he's good. And despite them kidnapping and ripping him out of Poco's arms and shit, they say, yo, let's take care of this little nigga because he has a plan. It's all a part of his plan, of course. I wonder if he'd kill a kid if it wasn't a part of his plan. Would he still kill a kid? Was he only worried about Dende earlier? I thought he was worried about Dende in that first episode because there might be a sign or foreshadowing of his nature and him not being pure evil. But that might have just been what we see now. Okay, that was a part of his plan in episode 5. He wants to use Dende to create Dragon Balls later in the future. So he wants to make sure he grows up real healthy, smart, good, and real obedient and loyal and shit, all of that. And I don't know how long he thinks he's going to have Dende. I guess he really thinks he got away with his plan. Actually, he doesn't know. Anrisu knows about Goku and them boys pulling up. Glorio knows too, because that's their plan. They work together. But he's really living. He thinks he's got it good now, bro. He thinks he's got it good, and that's kind of crazy. So, in episode 5, we also get some more hints that Glorio's been lying when the third Demon King doesn't respond to Glorio as if he sent him on the mission, but it's more like Glorio approached him with the proposition. Okay, that's what Supreme Kai noticed. But also at the same time, Supreme Kai did directly ask the Demon King if he requested someone to take down Goma, and he said yes. Goma has to go down. He's evil and all this, blah blah blah. So, for some reason, Glorio wants to take down Goma and promised the king that he knew people could take down Goma, apparently. So they made that deal both together, but obviously Glorio approached him with it. And he said, okay, yeah, I would go do that. I would need you to go do that. That was his request in response, right? So Goku trains against the dude's army, the third Demon King's army. Even with his nerfed and stunted potential body, someone like Goku is clearly too much for these niggas in the demon realm, okay? Let's look at it like these dudes were already training, right? So they're like relatively normal people. They probably don't have magic, so they're the equivalent to humans in the demon realm. This is how you gotta look at this. They're the equivalent to legit humans in the demon realm. They can't fly. From what we've seen, they can't fly, and they don't have magic. Okay, so they can train and get as strong as demons can get, which is stronger than a natural human by miles, no doubt, right? But they're still normal Majins, normal humans, right? So they're not at superhuman level in terms of Majin. They're not at super Majin level. Let's say it like that, because in terms of relativity, I can't say the fucking word tonight. What's going on? Well, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Relatively speaking, the Majin, base level Majin, is equivalent to a regular human. So the Majins that Goku fought, they don't have any special skills like flying and magic. Okay, you got to be a strong Majin or somebody, a Majin that uses magic to be doing all that sort of shit, right? Because when Pansy saw Goku flying and stuff, she thought he was using magic. They thought his flying was magic. They thought his Super Saiyan was magic. But I'll save that part for later too. So my whole point in going on this whole rant is Goku. It's almost like you're taking Goku from Dragon Ball Z and you got him fighting characters. You're taking the Z era Goku and having fighting people from Dragon Ball. It's like these people are a couple of arcs behind him in character growth and progress. Okay, because that's where they're at. He's fighting base level Majins. Okay, unless he fought a Majin that was naturally born with super strength like Frieza, or they're like special in some sort of way, right? They got some magic. Maybe they can train too. Pansy questioned his training almost as if she doesn't understand like what he means like by training to get this strong. How are you gonna train to get this strong? Like, or maybe she was just questioning like, you know, a kid because she thinks he's a kid. Like, okay, yeah, you were a kid, but you trained, but that doesn't mean that still doesn't explain your strength, right? I'm just trying to look at it from different perspectives. So he's fighting these human equivalent Majins, and he's washing them because he, even with his stunted body, he's still from his Z era, from Dragon Ball Z era. Okay, it's like shrinking. It's like taking Goku from that era, shrinking him down, and putting him back into OG Dragon Ball to do the whole story over again. He's not gonna struggle once against anybody. All the way up to the Red Ribbon Army, all the way up to King Piccolo. He's not gonna struggle that much against any of them. Okay, he's gonna have to fight all of them with one hand, like he's doing these people down here in the demon world. Okay, that's the comparison for the scale I see, because Supreme Kai, you remember, Supreme Kai was at Frieza's strength level. He was the strongest Frieza. He was stronger than Frieza back in the Frieza saga, because he said, I could have one-shot Frieza back then. He said that I could have one-shot Frieza. That's how strong he was. He wasn't stronger than Cell. When he saw Cell's power and Gohan's power after Gohan fought Cell, Gohan wasn't even as strong as Cell anymore. He got weaker by then in the Buu saga. But he saw Gohan's power post Cell and said, damn, like this kid is strong as fuck. Like he's stronger than us. So that's crazy, right? Supreme Kai maybe could have boxed Cell. Maybe he could have boxed Cell. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe he's not just stronger than Frieza. Maybe he's on par with Cell, and he was just surprised that a mortal like Gohan had power near his, right? But I digress again. The point is, Supreme Kai is a strong-ass dude. At least under Cell or stronger than Frieza, under Cell, right? He's somewhere in between that realm. Glorio is stronger than him. He's been alive for however many years he's been alive. Probably over 200, like I said earlier. And he's stronger than Supreme Kai. They've both been around probably the same amount of years. Goku's only been around for like 20 plus years, maybe 30. Plus the time chamber, he's probably been around for 32 years. 33. He's got to be like 30 years old, 33 years old, right? By now, because he hit the time chamber a couple times. Maybe just 30. But this nigga's stronger than all of them. It's not because he's like trained, bro. It's because he's a Saiyan and he trained. Like this is just different. So that's a different thing to look at. So that's a nice perspective to look at things from. I know I'll be ranting a little bit, but you gotta stick with me. You gotta think of different views that Dragon Ball are giving you. Okay. So with this new character that we've seen holding this little radar, he got requested to go and gather the other members from the Dragon team. Supreme Kai says that they might be getting at least 3 to 4 people. I think that suggests or implies that Bulma might be coming too, right? But the new character, he has this like solar system chart in a pocket-sized radar similar to the Dragon radar, but I guess it's like demon style in design. He had horns on it, okay? And it's pretty sweet looking. He zoomed in through a whole chart of the universe. He could probably choose any universe to zoom in on like that, since he's leaving the demon realm. That means the demon realm might have a higher mortal level than universe 7. Higher mortal level in general, higher ceiling of knowledge. Maybe not power, but I guess, I don't know. Tamagamis are there. We haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen Deborah was like Cell power. It's not his fault Saiyans got stronger than him. So there's people born like around Deborah power, not Deborah, but like Cell power and shit, like Frieza power in the demon realm, for sure. Or at least they get to that strength after like 100 years, right? We see Pansy's 82 years old and she could barely lift the fucking rock. So if she can barely lift the rock at 82 years old, that means Glorio has to be like he's pretty old to be that strong, right? Around Supreme Kai's strength or stronger than him, he's got to be older than him. In the Toriyama style joke, we see Pansy selfishly bringing a bunch of stuff along, like some Bulma style stuff, right? That's what I was saying earlier. It's similar to Bulma with how he's having her interact with Goku and the rest of the crew. She's the mechanic one, she's the smart one, she's calling them stupid, dirty, this and that, She's a princess and all that, just like how Bulma was. Bulma was basically a princess in the same sense, because she's from this rich family. She's real posh. She thinks she's all that. She got all this stuff. It's the same stuff, right? Same stuff. Okay. So she brought a bunch of stuff with her. It was a real selfish move like Bulma. Okay, Goku getting Glorio's name wrong is real funny. That shit's hilarious every time, but he's super patient with him. He's real calm and patient with him, just corrects him every single time. It's Glorio. Glorio done out. Like, you just keep telling that nigga, bro, every single time. So, Supreme Kai makes Goku notice that Glorio has lied, but Goku being himself doesn't give a fuck, right? Goku already made friends with Pansy. They fist bumped and everything. It's like a small sign of how they're just all getting along together. Unlike Glorio, no such interaction has happened yet, okay? They haven't had any true friend-like interaction yet. Goku, just being who he is, has just calling Glorio as a friend. He just looks at him as a friend and just like, oh, this my man's. But they haven't really had any friend moments, unlike he's had with Pansy, Supreme Kai, everybody he's ever encountered. With Vegeta, it's happened already, right? So that fist bump was kind of a sign of that, I feel like. And she's already yelling at Goku like Bulma does, like, calling him stupid and all that. Even though Glorio is secretly not, even though he's secretly not Goku's friend, he's just like basically using him as a means to an end, because he has a goal. He's just using Goku. I don't think he really has any intentions of making friends with him, but that might not stay like that the whole time. He might have some sort of conflict going on, like, even if he doesn't get betrayed, like if he betrays them and then they still help him and he's like, why y'all help me, I betrayed y'all, and he's like, bro, you cool, and now he's friends with them. I could see that happening. Or I could see him not wanting to betray them along the way, because they, he's like, damn, these motherfuckers really, like, they helped me out a couple times and shit, so now he's like, he changed the plan because he doesn't want to betray them. He might reveal himself, like, yo, I'm working with the enemy, bro. He might reveal it himself, for real. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Episode 6, Pansy finds out that Shin is a god. I wonder what exactly God means to the people of the demon realm, though. Like, have gods, do they have this concept of gods? Or how does that concept seem to them? Is it something more fictional, like how demons would be to the people in the outside universe, out in space? Okay, would it be, similar to that, how demons are like fictional, or they may or may not be real, they don't know? Because most people view gods like that until they find out they're actually real. Same thing with demons, they're actually real. So do the demons live thinking like, oh, gods aren't really real? Do they know of their existence? Is it like how Christianity is with the demons versus gods sort of shit, right? Because he uses that a lot. But over in the Kaio realms, I'm not going to get too deep into Dragon Ball lore and background, but over in the Kaio realms, there is the hell. There is hell. So there's probably some dude who rules over hell and already opposes the Kais in the universe, right? Outside of the demon realm, in space, right? So I don't know how they view the gods. Do they pray to their own gods? Do the demons have their own gods? Okay, are there demon gods, or are their gods just gods? Who knows, right? Maybe the demon world, demon realm is completely structured entirely different, where the concept of a hierarchy of beings and that type of order does not exist at all. So the closest thing to gods in the demon realm would be the strongest people and the supreme demon king, or some shit like that, right? The super strong people or the demon king, because other than that, they're like, oh, God, like, What is a god? Like, I'm stronger than Supreme Kai. I'm stronger than these niggas. Maybe not Zeno and anybody else, right? So that's another thing, right? Is there another hierarchy like that? Because I'm still thinking within the realms of Z. I almost forgot about Zeno, even existing. So, is there a hierarchy of gods with angels and all of that similar in the demon realm? We might have to see that later on. Because it seems like Pansy was confused. Maybe it's because she's a kid. Who knows? Episode 6, Glorio finally tells Goku, "You're saying my name wrong, and you're probably doing it on purpose." He says, "I'm not." Glorio says, "Okay, say it right now the right way." Okay, and I think he said it right or fucked up still, kinda, but Glorio was like, okay, whatever. So he doesn't like that shit, but he's gonna have to accept it, it feels like, right? Episode 6, Pansy is already yelling at Goku like she's known him for a long time. And Goku's like, she's scolding him for being an idiot, 100% bonus shit, right? They're all cool, and it's like every time they're all getting along, Supreme Kai is laughing at the jokes and shit, Goku's cracking jokes, they're all chilling. It's like Glorio feels like the outsider with the way the camera pans over him to him. I think it does it on purpose too, right? This is like foreshadowing. He's not, I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious, but they're giving us the most obvious foreshadowing I've seen in anything, but that's not bad. It makes it so people aren't confused, and it leaves less things up for interpretation. So you can't interpret something this way, and the other person watching can't interpret it that way. So once they do that, it's solidified what's going on for you, and you have to just be there, aware of what's happening right now in the plot. I like it. So we all know Glorio's shady. Nobody can say, no, I don't think he's shady. Like, you can't say that. That doesn't make sense. He's shady. We know he, like, come on. Okay? You can't do that anymore. So quickly progressing through episode 6 real quick. Summarizing, Goku is the strongest nigga in the universe for real, okay? Supreme Kai said it. That's the strongest dude I know. And they can't believe it because he's so stupid. Okay? And, the Gendarmerie, it's the French word I was talking about earlier. The military force, aka Goma's military, the soldiers, right? They arrive to the group. They approach the group in their crashed plane and start to question them. When they ask what realms they're from, like, what demon worlds, not realms, what demon worlds they're from, they ask them that. What's her name? Pansy flashes her collar. This completely solidifies the fact that the collar is worn by everybody in the third demon realm. Because after they said that, because Glorio sent them from 1, Supreme Kai sent them from 2, and she flashed her collar. That means she's from 3. So they're like, okay, what are people from each demon realm, each demon world, doing with each other? Okay? So maybe the collar and the worlds are really numbered, because he said 1, 2, 3. It seems like it's really numbered by social standing, representing a hierarchy of some sort, and the perception and how the people are perceived, and regarding their social standing and all the shit I just said, right? So the people from the third realm are probably treated like slaves. They're seen as the lowest and weakest, maybe, like the dirtiest, the most undeveloped, culturally, and scientifically, architecturally wise, and all of that. They're probably seen as the most undeveloped and barbaric of all of them, right? We're living in the Badlands, basically. It's all desert and dry. Niggas is living in their own little tribes and villages and shit. In the second world, they're probably living like the natives to the land. Like, they're living off the land, thriving, all peaceful culture, spiritual, successful, all of that. And mark my words on this too. I imagine this is exactly how it's going to be, because we've seen some of it with the Namekians too. They're going to be a really agricultural. Oh my fucking God. I'm keeping that in there too. Y'all hear what the fuck I'm trying to say? I cannot speak right now. But them niggas is going to be real agricultural in the second realm, okay? They farming. They got their aqueduct systems, maybe. They got the rivers. They don't even need all of that, actually. They don't need any primitive technology, even at the most, bruh. They gonna just be living off the land, spiritually attuned, healthy people, just chilling, right? Drinking water, maybe eating cabbages and shit. I'm reading it from the bottom up. the first demon realm, the last one I'm mentioning. Okay, it's in third place. It's the third one we're going to be seeing. This is why I keep saying it like that. It's the third one we're going to see, but it's the first one in significance and order. But the last one, the first demon realm, the first demon world. I keep correcting myself because the differentiation between realm and world is a little important. So the first demon world, I feel like that one is going to be the most advanced scientifically, technologically wise. You're going to see skyscrapers, we're going to see buildings, we're going to see niggas using vehicles all day, like not just flying, but they're probably going to be driving around. We already seen a little bit of it before. They got like stone landscaping on the ground, and like, you know, they got holograms and shit, like, and they got gardens and waterfalls and fountains and shit. It's like it's a real place. It's looking like this. They got castles and shit like that, right? So it's different. So I think that's the thing. That's a real significant thing that's going to be shown later, and it might not be spoken about. I hope it is, so people can see and understand it too, because everybody might not have noticed that so far. But I feel like it's going to be real obvious, if not just directly said, spoken about, right? So Toriyama likes mentioning Saiyan facts. Okay, he mentioned another Saiyan fact again. It's similar to one we had before, but it's more details on it, right? The fact that Goku said that he can't tie his hair back because his hair is too resilient and tough and shit. You know, it stays in that same shape. It's rigid. So even if he gets dumped in water, it's not really going to sap down. His hair is going to be standing up straight for the most part. It might bend a little bit, but it's just not going to be turning into long hair drooping down like that. It's going to be maintain its shape, you know what I'm saying? So their hair is tough and resilient, and you know, we found that out. Supreme Kai talks about how the Glems are born on trees. Okay, the depiction of how they're born is different than what it was said to have been in the past. Okay, we never seen a visual for it, but it was spoken about. They're born on trees like fruits, and you know, once every millennium or however long he said before, I forget specifically, but he said they're born like fruits on a tree, and you know, sometimes one of the fruits basically go bad, and that's when an evil Kai is born, known as a Makai or Makai Oshin, right? So we know about them before, but now the depiction is a little bit different, and we're getting more information around it as well. So they're more depicted as like not fruits, but themselves as the baby body, like they're like buds from the tree. They're sprouting from the tree as if they're natural plants. Goku even asks Supreme Kai, like, yo, so are you a plant? He responds to it with a no, but the way he said no was kind of like with the hint of him like not really knowing for sure either. But he was like, no, I'm not no. He said, no, I'm not a plant. Like, he didn't really know, but he said like, no, I'm not. But you know, he's kind of questioning it, it felt like. So I liked it. That was funny. And you know, we also found out specifically they're born once every few centuries. God damn it. Once every few centuries. Okay, if you don't know what a century is, that's 100 years. So once every 100 years, they're born. So that kind of answers my question from earlier about Anrisu, Degetsu, and Shin. They could all just be 100 years apart. If Shin is if he was 216 when his brother was born, okay, maybe his sister is like 300. You know what I'm saying? His sister's 316. So that probably answers that. She might be 316. Goku mentioned stuff that he never should have even known before, and that we never knew that he knew, because it never was even stated with around Supreme Kai's race or his people, or around Kai's period. But we found out that his diet consists of water. Okay, water. I immediately thought of Piccolo and the Mechians, because I'm already confident they're from the second demon world. It's just so obvious right now. So obvious, okay? It's quite obvious. But if you still think they're not from the second demon world, I question your analytical abilities, bro. I question your observational eye, bro. Like your attention to detail. Like, what's wrong with you, okay? Shin and Degetsu, they are brothers because they're born from the same tree. As I suspected, I wasn't sure though, because of course I also thought they could have been fruits born at the same time, but one of them just went bad, the opposite fruit, and or something. Maybe they're born in pairs on the trees or something. Who knows? But we know now for a fact they're born on the same tree at separate times. So the sister means it's the same case. And before I even had to ask any more questions to myself, Goku asked him, so are Kibito Kai and the old man your brothers and shit? Because I thought, well, damn. I was already thinking, like, damn, so, hey, that means Kibito Kai and them is technically his brother. Goku asked that. He said no, because they were born, there's 5 trees. He basically said they were born on a different tree. When he said there's 5 different trees out there, that means they're born on a different one, okay? And if they're born on a different one, that means that these niggas could basically be cousins, I guess. He didn't say that, but if they're not siblings, maybe they're unrelated if they're born on different trees. But maybe they're still related, meaning they're at least cousins or some shit. You know what I mean? Distant cousins or something. Maybe they're just completely unrelated, right? If you're born from that tree, that's family. There's different trees, different family bodies or lines or whatever you want to call it, right? Different family seeds being sprouted, right? So that also questions like, okay, so the green Kais from the other universe, are those the other trees? Are one of the trees made green Kais? Because remember in Dragon Ball Super, there was a yellow Kai, Gomasu, or Gowasu, and Zamasu. There's yellow and green. And there's, I think there's blue ones and pink, obviously. So I don't think we've seen a red one. So other than that, would the other trees be the different Kais from the other universes? Not that they're assigned to the other universes, obviously. Their people went to different universes, but what process does a Kai have to do to become a god? If they're not born in the Kaio realm somewhere to become gods in the first place, I thought the gods were naturally born for the universe. If that makes sense. I thought the tree existed in the Kaio world, and the tree naturally birthed gods and or demons sometimes, right? But that's not the case at all. They left the world, they left the demon realm similar to the Namekians. So that makes me think, could a regular person become a god? Why were the Kais chosen to become gods? Because they have magic? Who knows, bro? Do you have to have magic to become a god? What is the criteria to become a god now? That makes me question, because they told Vegeta he could become a god of destruction. So do you only need God Ki to become a god? What is this process? Who chose Shin to become a god? How did he know he could leave and become a god? You know what I mean? We need answers on that now too. I need to know that. That's kind of important, low key. And it's mad interesting too. Okay. So Shin said his brother is very ambitious. That's why he left the demon world. But in Japanese, apparently they didn't use the exact same word that would be ambitious, but it's close enough. So if we look at all the similes, right? If we look at all the similes to the word ambitious, we can still gather the same meaning, right? That he left the demon world because he couldn't sit still. He had big dreams, that he wants to do things that he wants to do. He wants to be independent. Maybe he viewed the other Glens being content with their like kind of like slow lifestyle of being like the peaceful bunch. Like he thought, y'all not even aspiring to do nothing. Y'all just living off nature and shit. Like I'm trying to do something. Like, so he is ambitious, real proactive. He became ambitious. Same thing for Anrisu. They said that she's ambitious too, right? We find out she's working with Glorio, right? Glorio could be working with her because it benefits him, or he thinks that this deal that he's in is an equal deal. But he might be getting tricked by her and manipulated in the end. Anrisu seems like she's the mass manipulator that she looks like and sounds like, right? I like how Glorio was shown to be somewhat like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like he, not only is he sure of himself, but like he couldn't just like, it might be pride, I don't know, but I like the scene that Goku like said that oh, I'm stronger than you. He couldn't just ignore that. He had to show him, like, bro, I'm strong too. He probably didn't even want to show him any of his moves, but he said, nah, I can't just ignore that. So seeing Glorio's magic was real sweet. That shit was real cool, and I like how we're gonna start to see more magic used in different ways. Magic is similar to ki, from what we can see, in the sense that it's a mass of energy that can physically react to things, and or that can be manipulated. Okay, if you think I'm tripping, then you're crazy, because I'm not tripping. What do you think that was? He used the episode was called Lightning. He used he used energy as whips as an actual whip. Okay, he's throwing energy out similar to how somebody could do with ki. Kefla, did she not do something similar in terms of the power? Okay, and if we don't want to go back to Super, if we don't want to look at Super, what is Master Roshi's Thunder Shock Surprise? It's ki that takes on the shape or form or visual of like electricity or lightning, right? So ki is very similar to magic in that sense. It's a mass of energy that can be physical and physically reacts to things, and niggas use it as a weapon and to attack, okay, and probably to benefit themselves and heal and stuff like that, right? I think we're going to see more constructs and physical things and shapes similar to what can be done with ki, as I already said, but different. Something's going to be different about it, especially the fact that Goku can't sense magic, right? Maybe he'll develop a sense for it, who knows, but he can't sense magic. Even what Goku does looks similar to magic from Pansy's perspective. She's 82 years old, and she knows what magic is. Glorio does too. It's similar. It looks similar to magic from her perspective. That's parallel to us viewers. How, for us, the magic that Glorio uses looks similar to ki. We know it's magic, but none of us can sit here and actually say the specific detailed differences about magic. That's why I hope that Shin or some of the other characters give us a detailed list of differences and similarities between ki and magic, like detailed. You know what I mean? Almost like explaining the chakra system or how they explain ki in the data books. I mean, I need details on how magic is different from ki in the world of Dragon Ball, outside of what I've seen it generally do, like just magically make clothes and shit like that. Outside of that, turn niggas into chocolate. Outside of that, I need to know what the difference is in universe, like the understanding that people can have about what the difference is and all that. And I think the person who would give this exposition, it would have to be Shin, Kibito, or Piccolo, since they're familiar with both magic and ki in this world. Okay, the episode ends with us seeing little Vegeta and the rest of the team. Bulma, she's finishing up the spaceship, and it seems like she messed up somewhere. I believe it's the fuel source or the power source that she used. It seems like in the end they might not use Supreme Kai's spaceship. The other character, I forgot his name, that little fat dude, he might arrive to pick them up before she can fix it and figure out that she doesn't have the proper fuel to fuel the ship because she doesn't have some sort of magic supply. Okay, the spaceship that Glorio had runs on magic. Supreme Kai said that. Whether or not it was created by magic is a different story. You gotta get specific sometimes. He said it runs on magic. I don't remember him saying it's created by magic. Maybe, I think Glorio might have told Bulma that shit earlier, so maybe I'm tripping. But that dude who arrives to pick up Vegeta and the team, he might get into a little bit of combat with the squad, man, before he could introduce himself. That'd be kind of interesting to see if he's on par with a Super Saiyan or Piccolo at this point. But I said this video was going to be under an hour, and it is. I didn't lie. I'm out.